Obviously, I don't have time to play DayZ myself anymore. It's been a few years, in fact. But Toperec has asked me to do a tactical breakdown of one of his video clips. I can certainly have a go at that. I'll put a link to the original video in the description so you can have a look, which I definitely recommend. He's a very impressive player. So let's watch the clip and we'll come back and discuss.
I have a black jacket now and a green vest on me.
Yo,
Where we came from? Oh,
I'm dead. Somebody just wrecked me right there.
I see him, I see him. There's two. Where did you die? Where were you when you died?
Right outside the house that you gave me the gun cleaning kit.
Yeah, they're smoking it. One of them is dead. Alright, 3 dead. That was it.
Nice. Did you grenade them?
Nope. Got him.
The first thing Tope did was communicate to his friend that his appearance has changed. He's changed his clothes. That's actually really important because it's very easy to mistake your friend for an enemy, especially under some stress. In particular, if your friendly appears in a position that you don't expect to see them, it can be confusing and catch you off guard. So it's essential for everyone to communicate their position for this reason alone. I'd say that most of the friendly fire I've seen was due to people not understanding exactly where their friends are, not communicating that effectively. Now let's discuss the terrain. The landscape itself is fairly flat, but there's a lot of foliage, there's plenty of concealment, and not much hard cover. This terrain makes it easier to set up an ambush, but it's also easier to fall victim to an ambush. So that's basically because two parties can bump into each other at close range unintentionally. And when you kick off an ambush, you can easily lose people for a moment. When you start the ambush yourself, when you can effect an ambush, suddenly people are ducking behind trees, running off. So you do need to consider that. What paths of exit and cover and concealment do they have that they can use? And you'll often spot people with a direct line of sight for a moment before they disappear again. And although you can technically shoot through this vegetation, most people won't attempt that because you're unlikely to score a hit and you're giving away your own position. So even if you don't have hard cover, you only have concealment. Often concealment itself is good enough to avoid being shot. For the attacking party who has attacked Tope and his friend, these terrain issues have played in their favour in terms of allowing them to start an ambush, but the way they've done it has worked against them after that initial ambush, and Tope completely capitalised on this. So they spotted Tope and his mate, and I'm assuming they know that there's more than one player. They've probably seen at least both of them. They've probably seen both of them. The moment they chose was when they could only see one of them. And it seems like they only had one person in their team who was ready to engage. So one was out front of the rest of the group, and they've taken a shot. They're starting the battle with a one-on-one attack on level terrain while the rest of the team is trailing behind and trying to catch up. So there's just no coordination. Against someone like Tope, you need to take all the advantages and coordination you can get. For example, starting with an L-shaped ambush, something like that, waiting until you can see both in a more open area where they're more exposed, they're more vulnerable. Anyway, so they fired the first shot, and Tope figured out their direction immediately. So what do you think someone with his level of skill is going to do? He's going to use concealment to close in and flank them, which is exactly what you saw. So on top of that, they threw down smoke, maybe with the intention of creating concealment for themselves, which which makes no sense to me because they already have plenty of concealment that they could possibly use in the foliage around them, in the trees, some buildings. And all that smoke did was effectively mark out their position to Tope. So that happened, and then there's this one guy standing next to the smoke himself, dancing around. Looked like he was possibly trying to peek around it too. Or he was marking his position out to his friends. I don't know, but it was a bad choice. So Tope moved in. Personally, my first move if I was Tope would be something like a movement to the left in sort of the 9 o'clock direction instead of that sharper angle towards the gunfire. This 9 o'clock movement would sort of maintain the distance rather than closing in before I could see them. I'd want to get my eyes on them a little better before moving in, and I'd try to get the high ground and a broader view to see if I can spot any other players and see if I can find a path of retreat if I needed it. From there, I'd do something like take pot shots in a guerrilla warfare style and change position after each attack, something like that. I'd prefer to use this method because I don't feel confident that I could just walk in there and mow down multiple players by myself from closer range. But Tope has a level of skill that few players possess, including myself. He's a different skill level to me in terms of getting kills. So I'm not surprised that he's approached things in the way that you saw him in this video. And so when he starts his ambush, he used a grenade. And this is a lot smarter than opening with gunfire, a single person shooting. Because with this explosive, the enemy can't determine exactly what direction Tope is attacking from. So once the ambush starts, he's got the initiative. He's got initiative in spades, even though he's outnumbered. And he's got one killed immediately, one down, and he hasn't fired a shot yet, and they don't know where he's coming from. So they would have been a bit confused, panicking a bit. It puts them on the back foot, it gets them off balance. And then he continues moving down their side and spots another player who was facing the direction of the explosion that he heard and the smoke. And the only reference points that player has are the last heard gunshots, the smoke and the explosion. That's a very different direction to where Tope is now actually standing. And this makes for an easy kill for Tope. It's exactly the kind of situation that I'd love to set up myself. Because you're very likely to succeed, and you're not likely to die in that time. Now, by the third kill, we're starting to see skills. We're starting to see Tope's skill level. So even in slow motion, when I watch it back on my phone, at least, I really struggle to see that third player. Yet Tope is able to visually identify players, get his sights on target. I've seen him do pretty impressive stuff where he's predicting their movement, timing the shot, managing the behavior of the weapon in terms of in the game, and compensating for the weird mechanics of the game. And he just does things that I could not just reliably pull off, even if I had the same amount of, possibly even if I'd put in the same amount of hours. And although he does have like tens of thousands of hours more than I do in this game. So after that third kill, a fourth player scores a hit on Tope. And this is when he decides it's time to retreat. And that's absolutely the right move. The other player is already landing accurate hits. And Tope is unlikely to win in that situation, because he's got to spin around, find that person, get the sights on, take the shot, and he's already getting hit. That guy's already got his number. He's got the drop on him. So then he takes this more tactical approach rather than just trading shots in the open. He retreats to a spot where he is concealed. I believe he's concealed from pretty much every angle except his front, which is exactly what you want. And he predicts correctly that the other player is going to be dumb enough to move in and try and hunt him down, which is pretty much on par with how they were behaving earlier, not making very good decisions. And Tope is just going to sit there and wait for an opportunity to shoot. when this other player walks into his line of sight. I have no idea how long he waited there, but it could have been several minutes. I don't know. But that kind of thing pays off if you can be patient enough. From that other player's perspective, it's a bad idea to follow someone like into those ruins. I'd expect to be getting set up for a counter ambush. Obviously, he thought, I don't know, he had some false confidence there. If he'd kept his different distance and changed position to get a different view on those ruins, again from another angle, he might have been able to spot Tope if he was more patient. And that could allow him to take a shot from a position where he could make his own retreat if things go bad. If Tope starts firing back, he can reposition, he can retreat, he can do whatever. He'd survive at least. But where he was standing, he was in an open-ish sort of area. If Tope even missed that first shot, he's got nowhere to go. He's going to get lined up for another one. So I think I'll leave it there. Sorry if it isn't the same production quality that you might be used to from my very old videos. Again, I simply don't have the time to do it, but I can make videos like this. So if you find it interesting enough, let me know. Again, link in the description for Tope. Please check him out, subscribe to him. He's a bit of a champion, and thanks for watching. Bye.